Hello and welcome to the 3 Points of Articulation podcast. Back once again with the WrestleFig Masters. Adam, the Wrestling Man, how are you?
I am good. As the only surviving member of the Fantasy Wrestling League Tag Team Title Tournament, I'm doing well. You two boys are not in it anymore, so I'm doing better than you.
Oh, that's a very somber way to start off, isn't it? From way down in the league table. Johnny Flashback, speaking of the league table, how are you?
Yep, top of the league table, but I was the first one out of the tag team tournament this year. But never mind, I got done in by a Money in the Bank cash-in.
There you go. Bobby Flack Bashley should flashback. It worked better in my head, I think. Flashbackley. Flashly, there we go. What have you guys been watching since the last episode? It's been 4 weeks since our last episode due to holiday commitments and whatnot. Adam, what have you been watching wrestling-wise in the last 4 weeks?
I was going to say, if you hadn't ruined it with wrestling-wise, I got to see PJ Masks, got to see Peppa Pig. It was a great little adventure at the good old Butlins. Wrestling-wise, I've kind of phased in and out. I've watched a little bit of NXT. I watched both of the draft shows. I've not actually caught any AEW in that time. To my discredit, I need to catch up on that.
I have checked out a couple of the NXT episodes recently. I think the first was the 2.0 rebranding first episode, and then I watched the one from last week, just so I can get a bit more knowledge of the guys that are on it. And I have been watching Dynamite every week and the odd Rampage. You know, the 2-hour special was worth a watch, I guess.
Is that NXT has been a bit poo-pooed recently. I mean, quite frankly, I don't mind it. I know it's a bit silly in places, but all in all, I don't mind it. It's fresh faces. It's not the same old. That is it. Joe Gacy, is he called? He looks quite a decent talent. There's a few others like Gigi Dolan. She looks delightful.
I think for me, it was a case of too many fresh faces all at once. So you can't 50% of the show I can't emotionally connect with because the people are just not anything to me yet. So I think a little bit more of a phased. I get it. Stick 3 or 4 big ones in for the rebranding, kind of like they did in 2010 when like Sheamus and Yoshitatsu and
Cesaro.
A couple of other people joined ECW.
But
it would have been good if they hadn't have all come in at once.
Well, different wavelength than I think about when Cesaro joined NXT and the earlier days of it. ECW. All in all, I don't think it's overly bad. It sort of feels like the start of a horror film at the moment when you're sort of trying to build a character base, but you don't really care that much who gets offed. That makes sense. And also, I'm guessing you boys have watched my interview with Wrestling Megastore. We had put on intermittently. Quite a long interview. He had quite a lot to say, did our Craig, but smashing chat nonetheless.
Yeah, I had to listen to this. It kept me company while I was doing the miles and the walking. So yeah, it was a good interview, and you both come off quite well. It was interesting to hear Craig's story. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I think what worked best was that at the beginning he was quite honest about phasing out of wrestling for ages, but then he was so passionate about what he had watched and had so much to say about it. It was good, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice chap as always. We're already talking about coming on for a Christmas special, so try and work that into a way. But make sure you use code 3POA on Wrestling Megastore as well whilst we're at it. Just get yourself 10% off for a treat. And let's go on to the news then, boys, shall we? It's quite a lot to cover.
Yeah.
News.
I don't know much, but I know I love news. News one order, boys.
Start again. That is not going in this episode.
That is fantastic. Love songs for news. We've had quite a lot of news since the last episode, haven't we? Been 4 weeks, so let's start with Chella Toys, who seem to be on everyone's lips at the moment. Let's start with our snow reveal that we had, because we had the Blue Meanie, We've had Stevie Richards. We've now got Al Snow in the Job Squad attire with the head. Johnny, let's come to you first on this one. Needed figure? What's your view?
Yeah, it's certainly a welcome figure. It's pretty much one of the bigger names of, well, the sort of category of wrestlers that they're going to sign. So it's a really good signing. There's the right attire to do. It covers WWF, covers his ECW, and with Wrestling Trader, I think they've got a good one there because people are going to be ordering from all over the world just to get that one.
Yeah, one of my favourite ever factions in wrestling in general was the Job Squad. I would love it if there was a full Job Squad lineup. Would make my dreams come true.
That's a different song. I won't sing that this time. I'd say all in all, the Job Squad Al Snow is the one that sort of rings truer to me. The ones that I remember most vividly as a child. So I'm very glad that they've had the ability to do it. I'm guessing, as we said about the Stevie Richards character, that he did it on the Indies maybe a bit before, maybe a bit after. That's why they've been able to use this attire. But fantastic.
Yeah. Was Stevie Richards in the Job Squad?
No.
Must be missing up the times, but I think Blue Meanie was, or maybe they've got another third Blue Meanie figure coming as well.
Wasn't Stevie in at ECW? Was he not? Oh, no, it's BWO. I'm thinking of.
BWO,
No, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm getting my my job factions mixed
Job
up.
Squad was Gilbert, Scorpio, Bob Holly, Al Snow, and Meanie.
What a lineup! So I think with this, the head looks like it's going to be a little accessory in the packet with it, which is absolutely perfect in my eyes. One example with this is I'm not a massive fan of the Bendham figures, but the Al Snow that comes with it's very toyetic because it comes with the head, which I quite like about it. So fingers crossed this goes the same way.
Yeah, I think the Jack's Classic one came with just a plain white thing, didn't it? If my memory serves me correctly, or one of the Al Snows came with a plain white thing. The Jack's BCA came with a proper one, but the only other one we've had was a white one.
The Jack's BCA was pulled from the shelves because everyone thought it was a severed head. They made a storyline out of it between Bob Holly and Al Snow because he was also in the 2-pack.
I think it was actually more a credit to violence to women rather than being a severed head. It was something like that rather than what you said. So it shouldn't happen this time since it's online. I don't think anyone's going to really kick up a fuss.
No, there's nothing more violent than severing a woman's head, though, is there? So it's relatively violent. I don't know what happens around your parts, but also we had the Big Daddy reveal that we had recently. We discussed the other week about the Big Daddy reveal. We've had the full outfit revealed now with his gold hat and his red coat. Looks fantastic. Adam, let's come to you first, and you're a big fan.
Yeah, perfect. I think for me, the white is actually the best bit about it because it proper stands out on the figure. And yeah, it's as good as I wanted to imagine it in my head. Chella are just knocking it out of the park. There was issues with Aldis in the first place, but as they've gone on, they seem to be just getting better and better and improving every time. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, you can't ask for more when they keep improvement every single time. So happy with that. It looks very jazzy, doesn't it? It has like a sparkly sort of robe and then the gold hat. It looks fabulous.
Fabulous. And also we had the Giant Haystacks figure that went up for pre-order last Sunday. This is a 7-day pre-order on there. A bit of confusion about that because obviously they've put Wembley variant. It's been bloody a headache trying to figure out what they meant by it. So apparently the Wembley variant, which is the brown figure, that went up first for pre-order on a 7-day pre-order basis. So however many figures they've sold, that's how figures get made, which is, as we discussed before, probably our favourite way of doing a pre-order. Whereas the normal blue attire, which is the non-variant, is going up for a standard release down the line, basically.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping, will that be part of Series 2, I'm guessing? I'm kind of hoping that they're going to put the whole of Series 2 up at the same time. That would be the most ideal thing. Although, is Adam Bomb Series 1 or 2?
Don't know.
I think I've lost track because they're not released at the same time. You kind of lose track of who's in what series, so you can't really call them a series when they're getting staggered releases. But yeah. Overall,
sorry, go on.
Yeah, the feedback for me and probably some others is release them at the same time, and so we can order them all at the same time, combine that postage.
I think the more money they get, the more chance of that there is, because they can make them all at once then.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I don't know what they're doing, why they're doing it. Maybe we could shed some light in a potential future interview, Jamie.
Yeah, I can message them and see. I'd say those are not going to be revealed at the same time because Ethan Page is also Series 2. Also, the pre-order for him has been up for...
That's Series 1, Jamie.
Oh,
confused yourself.
Just, I think because they've had so much delay with that. Obviously, Hayabusa and Born Nakano is both Series 1, aren't they?
Without spoiling something that's coming up, this is Series 1. We have, so Series 1 is Nick Aldis, the Mind of the Mania 2-pack. All Ego, Ethan Page, Dynamite Kid, Hayabusa, and Bull Nakano. That's Series 1. There you go. That clears that off.
Lovely. So yeah, there'll be Series 2 then, won't they? Let's be honest. Obviously with Haku.
Yes.
And his 10 kids or whatever else to get involved. Chella have also revealed the Sabu this morning of the 7-inch range, uncensored it's called, just an unpainted render at the moment. It's a bit of a public service announcement, but why not treat ourselves? Nothing's really announced that apart from that.
I'm going to wait and see how Dynamite Kid turns out first because I ordered that and I'll wait and see. I'm not as taken with this range. I don't think they're going to be quite as good as the retros.
Yeah, I think the scope looked good from what we see on the image of Sabu, and I am waiting to see like Dynamite. In fact, I think this line of 6-inch figures excites me a bit more on the retros, to be honest, because I can include them with the rest of the Mattels in theory. So hopefully they are exactly to scale with them. They have mentioned there's going to be an extra point of articulation in the chest, so I'm interested to see how that turns out.
That's weird. An extra articulation in the chest. It's like a Power Ranger.
What I mean is they've obviously done something different to Mattel or Jazzwares in the way the figure art is articulated. So I'm interested to see. They haven't really shown it. I couldn't really see it from what they posted today on the socials, but they have they've said it in words or writing that it's going to happen.
Oh God. Right, so I think that's it for Chella at the moment. So we move on to let's have a little micro brawler. So flashback to my interview with Adam Bomb, who I said in the interview there, an Adam Bomb micro brawler, that'd be nice. And he went, I can't confirm that. Well, you didn't need to because now it's been released, and I had the scoop first apparently by guessing. Adam Bomb micro brawler. Do either of you guys see the image for this, Adam?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's really toyetic, the same as all the really good micro brawlers. If you're a brawler fan, it's definitely one to pick up. It is going to be overpriced for what I want to pay for a micro brawler. There's loads and loads of these coming out now, so hopefully they'll start getting cheaper and cheaper on the secondary market, and that's where I'll grab them. But yeah, looks really nice, toyetic.
Yeah, I didn't see it, or I don't remember seeing it, so I can't comment, but it'll fit well into that line for sure.
It's part of the Pro Wrestling crate. So just like you get with the Wrestle Tap stuff that they send, you get the boxes that have like a T-shirt and so on. It comes in that.
Right.
Yeah. Basically. Speaking of, it could be classed as tap this as well. The New York Comic Con reveal for the Major Pod Bendy figures that they've revealed. We'll just briefly touch on this because none of us collect them here. But Jeff Jarrett, who's had the Jeff Jarrett sort of late 90s run with the Don't Piss Me Off t-shirt, and also the sort of mid-90s Double J Jeff Jarrett run. And Conrad Thompson also gets a Bendy, and Danhausen, who, yeah, he exists apparently. Is this making either of you want to buy them?
I don't know. I'd probably have to see what they look like because they're just drawings, really very crude ones at that. So it doesn't really represent a figure to me at this point. I will have to say them. I think it's quite a good lineup, to be honest, for what they've got. They're always going to release themselves. Danhausen is actually a pretty big name amongst the indies and in USA. He's got a big following, and so is Conrad Thompson. To be honest, I think people have been looking for something like that for a while. But him, with the amount of podcasts and reach all over the world he's got, I don't blame him at all for those names.
Yeah, it's appealing for people who either were into Bendham's or like the Major Figure podcast. It's not a lineup for me.
Yeah, I mean, the lineup was the reason that I mentioned it, truth be told. So I think Jeff Jarrett, I was a big fan of the late 90s run. So I think the figure line, the actual lineup for it makes complete sense. I think they've covered a lot of basis there, which is good to see. Let's move on to the Ringside exclusive Jay White, the Nerds Clothing Jay White, which also comes with a chase, I believe. There's a red one and there's also a sort of black one as well. Another retro company, Mere Made. We covered this a few months ago, I believe, as well. Adam, let's come to you. What's your view on this? Were you picking this up?
Not me personally. We just spoke about Danhausen being quite a huge name on the indies. Switchblade Jay White is a massive name on the indies. I'm not a follower or watcher of indie stuff, so I can't really go into much more detail than that. I just know I hear about him a lot, especially from the customizing type of people. It looks to me like it's going to be another kind of Nick Aldis, where it's not going to be great from what I've seen of it, but it could be a company that gets better, like Chella have obviously showed. So yeah, hopefully that'll happen.
I've got no connection at all to Jay White. I couldn't even pick him out of a lineup if I seen him. So I don't know if I'm going to get him. I think the question is it a Chella toy or not?
It looks a bit like you. No, it's not a Chella toy. It's Nerds Clothing, isn't it?
Well, Chella, it's in conjunction with Chella.
Was it?
Oh my God, Jamie. How do you not know?
Well, because it's not advertised. It says Ringside exclusive. I remember they released the render and so on, the picture ages ago, but I just thought they'd dropped that because it looks completely different.
It is a strange situation because I think they are, they're made in conjunction with Chella, wherever that means, but released by Nerd Clothing and sold via Ringside Collectibles. It's a bit all over the shop, really, but it kind of depends if you're going to include that in your Chella completest sort of lineup.
But yes, we like Nerds Clothing made that jacket that Adam's got, the Cody one. That's by Nerds Clothing. So they're a relatively big company. They've got big contracts and stuff. So you would have thought, fingers crossed, they'd put a bit of effort into this one. Wait and see.
I can't comment on the figure because I don't know what the guy looks like. So yeah,
he's in current day Impact Wrestling, so you know what sort of. Once again, let's move to WWE and briefly touch on the 2-packs that have been released. The Drew McIntyre Randy Orton comes with a little plastic belt. I don't know whether that's how they're going to start releasing belts now with some figures, but very strange whether than that. But they used to do it back in the day, didn't they? Jack just do it all the time.
Just sounds like a battle pack.
Showdown.
See, it doesn't say Showdown on the packaging at all, does it? Unless I've misread the packaging, but it's just a picture of a belt and 2 figures either side. So it doesn't come with a side plate or anything.
Weird. It must be a different line then, not the Showdown.
Yeah, I mean, it's for kids either way, isn't it? And obviously the new stands for the Showdown pack. You've got Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte from Mania 36. And you've got Kane and Stone Cold and Cesaro and Reigns. The new stands, they've ditched the side plates and just gone for, it's hard to describe really, it's sort of like a stand in the shape of a belt with 2 little like bendy periscopes, should we say, holding the figure in place.
Clutching at straws, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff that's going to end up half price very shortly after it comes out.
I do understand them doing battle packs or 2 packs, but nobody wants these stands or side plates or anything like that. They maybe would want a belt or a accessory to come with it, but nobody's going to really use them. They're just things that get put into a box and never used or seen again. The kid's not really going to display the basics on these little things.
And an adult's not going to buy the basics.
A plastic side plate toy. So yeah, it's not happening.
They've got the worst of both worlds. No,
it is.
And also Big E in the new Record series of the ATV. Someone did mention that Austin maybe should have come with the ATV, which would have been better, but
been miles better.
Would have been miles better. Zombie Sailor has also signed Roadkill to a deal for this new retro line, and also Ultimo Dragon. No figure reveals yet, just the little video reveals for it, so nothing really to discuss, just the old public service announcement for those. Legends line. We saw some more Legend line figures revealed, didn't we? We've already seen them already, but we've now seen them in the boxes. Triple H in the DX attire. Johnny, let's come to you on this one. We've had it already.
Can you remind me what he's wearing underneath the camo? Or has it not been released yet?
I think it has, but I haven't seen the picture. Just naked Triple H.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I can't recall seeing the image, I'm afraid, so I couldn't comment on that one.
It's just one that has to be released, isn't it? If they're going to do Billy Gunn and obviously Road Dogg and X-Pac are going to come, they're probably going to release a tank at some point. There we go.
Wrecking tank.
I'm unsure about the tank. Just guys, I can't see them releasing something that big.
Well, with Shotzi, though, maybe.
Yeah, but that's only like a little tank.
Well, that's what they had to invade WCW. It wasn't like a proper tank, was it? It was like a
Jeep, wasn't it? Yeah, so
yeah,
maybe a Jeep.
Maybe a Jeep. It'd be going Jeep, wouldn't it? It's cheap. Jake Roberts is the chase of the series. A second chase in the last 18 months for Jake in the Legends line. Blue with a fiery pants, Jake, and standard grey. Adam, let's come to you first on this one. Do you like the attires?
You know what? It is what it is. I don't think it's any major improvement on any Jakes that we've had. Jake will always be toyetic because his tights were always pretty good. The white one's a bit bland to me. But yeah, I don't understand why he's the chase again. He's either a really good seller, or they've run out of ideas already, because there's no need for it for me. It could have been so much better to have somebody different in the chase.
I feel that they might be getting the money's worth while they can. You could see Jake Legends deal running out, and then he just start mating them with Jazzwares at some point. So maybe they're just trying to put them out while they can, which is a good idea, to be honest. And I think both them attires are very good choices. You've got the heel Jake with the blue, which is kind of like a repaint of the old Legends series, which is quite expensive now. So it's a chance for someone to get that era Jake, and then you've got the WCW Jake, which we never really had before in any sort of line, I don't think so. And it comes with a nice little glove as well, so pretty cool. Quite dig them.
We haven't had the one with the head thing on from Mania 7. It's Martel.
Jax did it, but yeah, could have done with maybe that from Metallica, right?
Did a 2-pack, didn't they? Alrighty. And Hurricane, finally. We had this one, or very similar one to this, in a basic form. They've released it again now. Johnny, Hurricane, what's your thoughts?
This is probably one of the only ones from Legend series that I probably won't collect or have in the collection, just because it's so late on. It's like a 2009-ish Hurricane, something like that, 2008, whatever it is. I don't really like that era of a Hurricane. I prefer them with the short hair, which I've already got.
No, so it is a strange one to do that. I bet it wasn't cheap to make the figure either, because it's quite detailed. Comes with the cape and everything, different head model than we've had. So not done just because he was cheap or anything. So yeah, it's a strange decision, that one.
So I'm not sure whether it's from when he come back at the Rumble a few years ago, just for a one-off appearance.
That would be even worse.
Yeah, he got a bit of a belly on him at that point, so probably not. Depending on what kind of shape the figure was in, is it a bit bigger than the other Hurricanes or not?
I don't know, he's wearing a little cape over his tum-tum. Can't really see it. The mask looks quite good though, that's what I will say.
I'm sure it does.
Speaking of a little tum-tum, we've also had the Royal Rumble elites released. Some big old boys in that set. Start with Yokozuna. For me, the face is the worst out of the Yokozuna elites that they've had so far. I'm not a massive fan of the Yoko face. Johnny is shaking his head in pure disgust.
I thought it looked really good. The face is really good. It is a re-release of the same attire that was in the Hall of Fame series, which is less than ideal, but there's not many other ways to go with Yokozuna. I thought the one in the red pants that was originally released was a shocking face. So I think this is an improvement at least, and a nice little salt pocket to come with it. Andy?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you as well, Jamie. I thought the face was the best bit about it, to be honest. I could just imagine it when he was sat on his opponent like that, pulling the kind of like grimace that he used to do. So yeah, don't know where that's come from, Mr. Wills.
Yeah, I think it's just it doesn't like capture it as well as it's not what Yoko looked like to me. It's hard to explain. When I looked at the face, I thought that is not a good. It looks more like Krang from Ninja Turtles than it was Yoko. The little stomach brain thing.
Yes,
I know it.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. It just doesn't look like that at all.
it does look like Krang. Dakota Kai is up next. It's again a very weird one for the Royal Rumble line because she's been in 2 Rumbles and a very, very short appearances when she was still in NXT. Adam, what's your view on this?
Yeah, it's nice enough. Talking about who it looks like, I don't know if any of you two have ever watched Wentworth, but it looks like Frankie out of Wentworth more than it looks like Dakota Kai. But it's good enough. It's quite detailed model of the figure. It's a good one to have because we haven't had a Dakota Kai elite before. So yeah, good.
I'll just agree with you. I didn't really have an opinion.
Look, you could make a good custom ivory out of it. That's what I'll say.
You could.
Earthquake up next. Looks like I want to say Rumble 90 or Rumble 91.
Was it Canadian Earthquake?
Canadian.
Yeah, that would be 1990.
Because 91 we covered in the episode last year during the Rumble, so I don't remember seeing this attire, but this is early Earthquake, isn't it?
Yeah. I like the attire. The face is just the same head that's been used all the time. I don't think it's been improved. It hasn't got any the new effects it has on, so it's exactly the same. But it was always a good figure anyway, so I kind of see why they've kept the same head.
Yeah, I really like it. This one's a customizer's dream again. There's loads of these ones on the custom market. I can replace mine now, even though mine's quite good. I'll still replace it with this proper one.
I mentioned before, the knees look really, really bad on this one. And finally, the Big E, which they went for the Big E from I think it's from the 2020 Rumble, because it's got the Xavier Woods armband from when Xavier Woods was injured. And they've got Get Well Soon and stuff on there. I'm hoping that they release the New Day in the attire from the 2021 Rumble, where they had the Brody Lee tribute on their attire. That'd be quite cool. But for the 2021.
Might be difficult to do with the rights to Brody Lee's likeness and things like that, so maybe not because of that.
Yeah, for me, this is a kind of meh figure. I hope it's just the angle that they've taken the photo of, but it looks like it's a no neck. Looks like its head's proper squashed into its shoulders. I hope it doesn't come out that way.
It's very much a no neck. And Jimmy Hart is the builder figure for this series.
Yeah, As far as Build-A-Figure goes, you couldn't really get a better name than Jimmy Hart. We've seen the likes of Dominic Mysterio being released in this Build-A-Figure line, and you're thinking, oh, God, where's this going? But at least they've pulled it back a bit with Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, so it's a great figure. It's a really nice attire of Jimmy Hart in the pink. I like my Build-A-Figures to be unique, where they're not released before. So I was a little bit disappointed that it's going to be another one, if you know what I mean. But it's Jimmy Hart, and I'll be wanting it anyway.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think like you look at the likes of the JR Build-A-Figure and like the John Laurinaitis,
Michael Cole,
Paul Bearer's had one, but he also had a Hall of Champions figure, didn't he? But still quite hard to come by. So I know what you mean. The only way of getting that figure is to buy a Big E.
JJ Dillon, obviously.
I kind of forgot about that aspect of it, having to buy the rest of the figures. Usually I've been lucky enough to be able to sell the figure for equal or even a bit of a profit on what I normally do, keep the Build-A-Figure parts, but there's a distinct lack of accessories in this release, so it could be difficult this time.
Look how readily available the Mania ones were from this year. The Paul Ellering one that everyone was after, that become reduced quite a lot.
Yeah. It's whether you want to take that risk and wait for a discounted one or not. It's a tough call.
I'd quite like to see a Nasty Boys Jimmy Hart released at some point, just as a FYI. Do you only have the jacket?
While we're on that subject, it would be quite cool to get something like an Ultimate Jimmy Hart and have like several different jackets that you can swap in and out and arms and stuff. I thought that was quite a cool idea that I just thought of recently. Completely off topic, but
yeah. I get what you mean. I think when he managed different people, he would wear different jackets, wouldn't he? Not chalk line style ones.
Of course.
And that brings our news to a halt on there. We're back in a second with some lovely pick-me-ups, shall we, boys? Pick-me-ups time now. We're looking at all of our pickups since the latest episode of the podcast. Johnny Flashback, what have you got for us?
Yeah, it has been a while since the last episode. I didn't really have anything last time, and I did pick up the From Smith Elite Series 86 Triple H in the red. That's the Chase version, and also the collector's edition Iron Sheik, Colonel Mustafa. So I know we talked about before with Adam, he was going to pick me some up, but then I was at Smith, so I thought I might as well just buy them, and he's happy enough to keep his as they are. Yeah, we did talk about last time, so no point dwelling on about that. And secondly, also out in Smith's at the moment, but I got them from WrestleBox. It is AEW Unrivaled Series 5. Isn't it 5?
Yeah, that's 5.
John Moxley, Adam Page, and SCU, the tag belts, and the main eventers of the series. It's the Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. I know me and Adam have different opinions of Jungle Boy. I think it's a really good likeness, good face. It just may be slightly too skinny, but he is kind of a skinnier chap anyway, so I don't mind it. I think it's a good face.
I picked up a loose John Moxley this week. It's not Series 5, is it? That's
Series 2.
That's Series 2. Yeah. Very similar to Series 5. There's not much, there's a bit of yellow on the Series 5, isn't there? That's the only difference.
Something like that, yeah. I'll have a quick get this again. Yeah, it's certainly more like a brighter colour on the pants of this one. Yes. And probably a bit more well done, and the face is a bit better as well, I think. So it is an improvement, at least, on Moxley. Anything to say on Jungle Boy, Adam?
There's just something not right. I don't know. It might be that the hair makes it look like his head's massive compared to his body. There's something off about it that I don't quite like.
I think it's pretty good. Never mind. That's what it's all about. Opinions.
I didn't realise that his dad was Luke Perry until relatively recently.
How? It literally gets mentioned every week.
Well, recently it has been, but like before for ages, isn't?
Ever since AEW started, it's being mentioned.
Oh,
Literally.
For ages I turned it with the sound off, so I couldn't really sound Excalibur. But yeah, I didn't really notice. I think I saw a picture where it was like Jungle Boy with his dad Luke Perry at SummerSlam a few years back, and I was like, oh, I didn't make the connection.
Wow, you're a bit slow on the uptake.
And I was like, Luchasaurus's dad was in Jurassic Park. That's the leaf-eating one. I'm not sure of the names of the dinosaurs. There's a Stegosaurus. There's one.
Is that the thing that died in the first scene?
No, there's a thing in the cage in the first in Jurassic Park, isn't there? That used to terrify me as a kid. Do you know when the matey boys standing too close to the cage and the dinosaur tricks him?
It's a crate, isn't it?
It's a crate, yeah. It's a PG, that film. And I remember watching it as like a 7-year-old and pooped my pants.
Right.
Can we move on to me?
Yeah, let's do it.
First up for me is the instalment of I've no idea why I got these club. I got 2 from a seller called Steve McMahon, if that is his real name, in the Facebook groups. Got the Otis, the working man's Otis. Every picture possible on this box comes with the Money in the Bank case, and then the figure doesn't. And the Apollo Crews purely for the belt, really. I really, the more I look at this US title, not just the figure version, the actual version, the more I like it. I think it's one that I'm going to need to buy in some form or other for my collection. Apollo Crews is quite nice, really cheesy grin on it. Very, very white teeth. But yeah, they're nice figures. I still don't know why I've got them, but I've got them.
How's the belt then? Is it shiny or is it?
It's shiny, yeah.
Yeah, so it's strange how they've been doing belts recently with half of them being dull and half of them being shiny. I've lost track of what's going on with them.
All I can think is the modern day ones seem to be shiny, and then recently all the flashbacks, should we say, have come with dull belts. Starting with Viscera.
Well, that was all. That was always going to be like that, the hardcore one. I suppose they could have done it that way, but they originally did it that way anyway. So it's not as if they've downgraded it.
I don't know. It's like a ploy that they've used just to make people buy the modern day ones for the shinier belts. People are going to buy flashbacks regardless, aren't they?
God knows. I don't know.
Well, I'll join you, Adam, in the why did I buy this section. So I bought some games this week. I don't know why I bought them, but I think we discussed with it before, Adam, didn't you, about this game, WrestleMania?
I have that one, yeah.
Yeah, this is a Commodore version. I also got the Amiga version, which is quite fun. The only reason I got this is because it came with a VHS tape, which as a child I think I had this game, but I didn't have the VHS tape. So there it is. It comes with a couple of little floppies in there. And it also comes with a little VHS tape that comes with the game. And the VHS tape is the World Wrestling Federation on video, which is.
So, did that cost you a lot? For some reason, I feel like that could be a bit of value to it with the video.
I think it was £10 posted.
I guess not.
But then, so I looked on eBay and I couldn't see any with the VHS. I could only see one without the VHS, so I'm not entirely sure. But obviously, I picked it up because I didn't have a VHS one as a child, and I've got like a little collection at some point, so it doesn't come up that often.
Yeah, I didn't even know. So yeah.
No, when this version supposed to come with 3 pin badges, so they didn't have it in there, but. There's some free pin badges. And the seller, which was I think it was Paul Agnew, I think it was called. He also included some WWF photographs, which was quite nice.
Good. Nice. Yeah, the photo cards, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not official. He didn't take the pictures because they've got thought it was quite fun. Nice one. Didn't have to include them.
Cool. They'll end up in a box doing nothing for 10 years.
I'll pass them on to someone else. That's what we said before about the program. When you get free stuff, you just pass it on to somebody else down the line.
Yeah. Anyway, for the benefit of those only listening via audio, that was WrestleMania game. Jamie was just calling it this the whole time. So yeah, WrestleMania for the Commodore.
Yeah, WrestleMania. Is this WrestleMania game? Is this the one you're on about where the Warlord was the bad guy at the end, Adam? Is this the one you're saying about?
It might be. I've got the game, but I've never played it. So it might be, it might not. I don't know.
Right. Let's move on, Jim.
Let's move on to you.
Standing there looking at it. Test. Right. Back to me. So I got this on WrestleBox, but this is the Mankind and Rock 2-pack. So that's the Mankind with the blue pants, and comes with the Rock and Sock Connection jackets. I think the faces on them are pretty good, so it's a decent improvement on the Rock. The Rock, you could say, is that same attire as he wore at Survivor Series '98 when he won the title. So I think it's the first Elite with the red trim. The box is a bit beaten up, but I think he threw me in a Humberto Carrillo for free to kind of make up the difference in the packaging being a bit broken. But I was going to open them anyway, so I don't mind.
How are the Mankind trousers? Are they as garish as we discussed? Are they as in your face? Or?
I think they are, which is good. They have to be quite stand outish, so quite happy with them.
Like very Lost Property trousers, didn't they?
Yeah. Definitely had a bad day that day.
Yeah, I think the figure and all, so that Rock is one of my favourite eras of the Rock. It's like the Rock Shamrock sort of trunks you can get away with, can't you, on those? The rivalry with Ken Shamrock is that sort of era.
Yeah, I just remember he wore the red trim at Survivor Series when he first won the title, so the same trunks as that. Whether the head matches up is another matter, but I don't know. Shall I do another one before we move to you guys?
Oh, go on then.
So this is probably the most expensive pickup, but it was one of those cases where if I left it too long, it was just going to keep going up and up in value. And I got the $1 million Man Chase figure from the Legend Series 9. So it's the silver version. Paid quite a bit for it. More than I should have done, but I think I might have had some few baskies that night and just ordered on an auction on eBay. Box a bit beaten, but it's exactly what I want because I want to open it.
Yeah, it's a lovely one, is that one. I've got that one in a box at the moment because it doesn't fit in my display.
Yeah. It's cracking figure. I think that was revealed when we first started doing this, wasn't it? I think that was when those ones come out. I think we discussed it then that it's a good attire to have for MDM. It
definitely could be a bit more shinier though. It's like grey instead of silver. That makes sense. But us beggars can't be choosers.
Well, for my next one is finally a competition win for me in the Fantasy Wrestling League with a prize that I actually wanted. There's a rumour going around that it's Flashback's favourite wrestler as well, which is the Chase Naomi figure from Elite 78. I think for me it's just a case of the belt attracted me again, just because it's a completely different type of belt with the glow-in-the-dark aspect to it. It's quite a nice figure. I always think with the Naomi ones that it doesn't really look anything like her at all. But, toyetic, nice.
You're going to put her with your Tamina and Sasha Banks and have her for your tag team iconic display.
Team Bad.
Team BAD. Beautiful and dangerous.
Yeah, I might have the same opinion as Sonya Deville, maybe. It's a decent looking figure, it stands out.
Even more when they turn the lights off, I imagine. It's a glow in the dark one, isn't it?
Does it actually glow in the dark?
You know what? I don't know. I'm going to turn my light off.
Treat yourself. Let's find out. If you're an audio listener, just that would be very good for you. We'll just talk you through it, probably.
There's a shiny light coming through.
That's Naomi. Oh, there we are.
Isn't that just a reflection of the phone?
I think it's just a reflection. I can see a tiny little bit, but it's not very good.
You could take it to bed tonight. Have a little.
You literally feel the glow.
Feel the glow tonight, Adam.
No comment.
Adam Uso.
I've got the belt loose. I might take that to bed and see how it looks during the night. It's going to be fun and games tonight, Adam.
It is indeed.
Right, let's move on to me then before we get kicked off YouTube. So yeah, at AEW, I didn't really collect them at the start. I thought I'd go around and pick up some secondary market ones now, or cheap ones from WrestleBox and have the sale on. I got the Double or Nothing Cody, which it's quite a very nice box. I've kept it in this little box, really nice. I was more impressed by that, I think, when you showed it off, Johnny, before the side of the
yeah, it's really good.
The box.
It's a complete presentation. It's an excellent release, really, as a figure. Brilliant.
I think my favourite thing about it is the fact they've kept it all away from the presentation, you know what I mean? Like, they've kept the symbols and the champion code and the AEW thing away from the centerpiece, which I quite like. But yeah, it's a good little back display. And also went and picked up a Dustin, an MJF, and the John Moxley to give my loose AEW ones at the moment.
Did you not already have them and get rid of them?
I had MJF at the start, but a good thing I did, because I managed to sell MJF for 30 quid, bought it for 20, and then I picked him and Moxley up for 12. So in total. So it was a sort of a strike the iron whilst it's hot. Yeah. But yeah, I think I've got maybe 12, 13 now, and a couple of rings for AEW. So I'm just picking up my favourites. I'm not a completist.
Lovely.
And Cody. Back to you, Johnny.
Right. Let's do some Chella time. So recently released is the fight version of Josh Chernoff. Picked up because of, don't know why. Probably won't even open it because I've already got one. I'll just probably keep it in case it might increase in value.
It's so you can get your fight points, Johnny. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'll speak about that later because I don't know what 5 points are.
No one does.
The main event of Chella, of course, this week has been the Hayabusa, which has been landing over the last couple of weeks. Lovely figure, and this one I'm going to open right now.
Ooh, this is exciting.
Can I be really honest while you're doing it?
No, because I sort of want to screen grab this and then put it on social media for stuff. But now I've got to edit. You might as well say it now because I'm going to have to edit that out anyway.
There it is.
No, I just don't really know who he is.
Oh, no, you're in the same boat with me.
Like, what did he do that stands out? Like, what was his most famous moments? I honestly don't have a clue.
Well, good thing
is John.
I knew that bit.
Honestly, I didn't really know myself until the recent episode of Dark Side of the Ring, which, shed some light on him. It was at MLW and, the death matches and that. But yeah, he seemed like, quite the innovator. And as I said before, it was a character on WCW Revenge based upon Hayabusa. So, and he was always one of the favorites to use in there. So his moveset was obviously quite impressive. And yeah, I mean, it looks exactly as it does on the card. So can't really complain about that.
With the back bit, Johnny, the jumper thing, how's that? Because he's got a bit of a mullet.
Yeah, there isn't. It's not a jumper, is it? It's just.
Is it like a jump? Oh, there's no action to it.
No, there's no action. Right. As you know, just a solid figure. It does, twist around the waist and it twists around at the arms. Unlike the Aldous, these arms don't seem to come off very easily. So, improvements. That's pretty nice.
It looks good. Toyetic, doesn't it? I think it's certainly cheaper than getting a Jushin Thunder Liger license, I imagine.
Speaking of questions about like Chella and stuff, well, I didn't notice. I noticed on the Nation Hospital group they posted this little token on the back, which is say for Wrestling Megastar Premiums, it's like one wrestling point. So I have no idea what that's all about, but I don't know if you keep these cards, you can redeem these little vouchers for something.
Maybe it's a little flashback, because remember the Hasbro on the back didn't have something to do with Federation points or something if you keep a token. Maybe it's like a little flashback to that.
I think everything about the back of the packaging is a flashback to Hasbro's. I just I don't know the relevance for that. I never really seen this on the back of Hasbro's.
I think it was, I want to say it was Series 1, maybe Series 2 had like some form of points or something that you could just collect these and you never actually got anything, but there was something on the back of them.
Well, maybe we could ask Chella what's it all about at some point.
Yeah, maybe. Adam.
You can move on.
Yep, number 3 for me was an eBay purchase. It's actually a Toys and Masks purchase, but it was via the eBay store. Just one that I thought I had to pick up because I think it will rocket in value. I say that now, even though we've just discussed that there's 2 more coming out. But it's the Legends Series 8 Chase Jake the Snake, the green version. I've got the brown version, so I thought I'd get this and check it out. It was a decent-ish price. I really like it. I think it really stands out. The tights are a really nice turquoisey green colour. And with the purple added to it in the rings, it's actually brighter than it comes across on the camera there. It's a really nice figure. I'm definitely going to keep this for quite a while and get it displayed somewhere, this one.
It's flashback to the Hasbro version of Jake Roberts.
Indeed.
Yeah. I already picked this up a while ago, opened it and all that sort of thing, so good stuff.
You're odd. I don't own it, or I haven't opened it, Adam, so it's impressive to me anyway. But yeah, it's a good figure. I prefer that Jake to the grey one that they're coming out, and the blue one's probably my favourite one that they've got. Let's take a little trip to BCA Town, boys, shall we? I know you've both missed it. Yeah. Look at your little faces.
More BCA Town.
Well, big shout out to Johnny, first of all, because he enlightened me to an eBay thing that was up. It was like 35 quid for a load of figures, but inside the little bundle was an Normal Warrior, which caught my eye to start with. I was like, oh, I need him. Tassels included and all sorts. But, I mean, it also came with the Jax BCA cameraman. Complete with a little sound box there and the camera. But, yeah, I think that's what I was looking at. It was about 35 quid on its own. I was looking at actually the day before. I think I was actually, as I was speaking to Johnny, wasn't it? I was looking at it.
Yeah, I can't remember you saying you wanted it, but obviously I remember the conversation. Although it was quite a while ago, and the seller must have took a long time to send it.
It did indeed. It came in quite a big box. So it came in like a ring and about 20 different figures. But the figures range from like a WrestleMania Shawn Michaels all the way back to these, which is weird.
Yeah, there was some good value in that. I shouldn't have told you. I should have bought and sold you them for 35 quid each.
Yeah, very good value in that. I think I've still got, well, you take these 2 out of the equation, I think it's still about a 35 quid bundle I've got up in the loft. So, and those 2 are probably 20 quid on their own, so it's good. And also not actual BCA figures, but I picked up some belts from, I think it's called Wrestling Figure Workshop on eBay. So basically they make belts for Hasbro figures and retro figures. So I've got the IC title one, which I've got on my razor there. The back of the strap, and you can see that there, looks really good. Also got my tag team titles, which I've got on LOD, which proper shiny, and the Winged Eagle one that I've put onto Big Daddy Cool. So they fit on BCAs, Hasbro's, Galoobs, all sorts. They're quite nice.
I think we've discussed them before. Jono, you weren't really taken with them, were you, when we discussed them, I believe? If I'm right, got the right person here.
I don't really see the point in them, to be honest. I can sort of see why you might put them on your Hasbro figures, but to put them on your BCA figures is just a bit strange because the BCAs, you either have the belts that are already released with the BCAs, which I know they can be quite expensive or whatever, or you maybe just upgrade rather than downgrade to a callback to what a Hasbro belt was. It just didn't seem a good fit for BCA at all.
The reason for it is because the BCA belts, if I'm honest, look like utter crap. Have you seen them? They're not good at all.
I don't mind them.
Oh, the scale-wise, it's just weird. It's just
I think they're quite well designed for the Jax era, I thought.
Size-wise, they just look well off.
They're as good as those belts that you've just got, at least. If you wanted to upgrade, you should have upgraded rather than, go back to it. It's not completely accurate, which I understand. I understand the design of them to fit in with the Winged Eagle belt from what Hasbro released. I just don't see why you'd put them on your BCA.
Because I like them, Johnny. That's why.
I think the belts are cracking. But yeah, I kind of agree that probably not the right figures for them.
That's just ruined that for me, isn't it, the pair of you? The reason I got them is because the BCA belts are too small, in my opinion. They're too
yes,
narrow.
But it's part of the collection, part of the BCA
I know
collection.
It's part of the collection, but I don't like that part of the collection. I'm not going to buy that part of the collection, am I? Makes no sense. They look fine. They're in scale with the BCA figures, and quite frankly, they're a fraction of the price. And I've still got to get the European title and the hardcore title, which only come out with the BCA figures, so I've still got to pick those up. But if I do pick up BCA figures, brilliant, I've got more belts. BCA belts, sorry. So no skin off my nose.
Right, you are.
Better move on, John.
What have you got? Some BCA belts?
Back to me? Yeah, I've got this lovely BCA that no. So I made an order from Rock and Roll Collectibles for the first time, and it was for the Legends Series 11, the complete one. So even come in little protectors, which is a nice touch. So we've got the Big John Stud, and we've got the Scott Hall. I've only just actually taken these out of the box. I just had them in the box for about a week. Bam Bam Bigelow in his grey attire and ECW belt. The Macho Man in the pink, and the Chase Macho Man in the yellow.
Nice.
There we go, all 5 of them. It was a good deal as well. It was much cheaper than anything I can find on eBay to import myself. And it comes with these protectors, which you guys say are worth £2-3 in themselves as well each. So
those little touches that help, isn't it? I mean, I've been talking to Stuart. I've never talked to him before until the past 3 weeks or so. Been talking to him, and he seems like such a nice guy as well. And it's just those little tiny touches, like the protectors and the fact that he's really sociable and nice, just makes that extra bit of effort. So I might be making an order as well of something.
Yes, there seems to be too many nice figure sellers about these days. So it's going to be hard to divide my money out amongst them.
They're getting too expensive, aren't they? Yeah, it's proper sound, Stuart. I think I've picked up a few items from there. Packaging-wise, are really good as well.
Yeah, as I said, can't complain with coming in protectors like that. So, and I guess I can't see any issues with them. I haven't took them out of the protectors just yet. So, very happy with the service.
It's a good buy, that.
You guys got any more?
Yeah, I've got one. So very quickly before I start on this one, the Fantasy Wrestling League and Legion of Hasbro Facebook page are kind of running a joint competition at the moment, or they're going to be. We're announcing the prizes at the moment. FWL 2.0, in a little bit of a link to NXT there. And I said to Jamie, because I know he's really good at raffles and stuff like that. He seems to have quite a decent win record, what he tells us. So I said, Jamie, here's 20 quid. Do what you can. Put a couple of quid on here, there, and everywhere. See what you can come up with, if anything, and then I will use that to sell it and buy prizes, basically, for either this competition or inclinations of this competition down the line. And lo and behold, Mr. Wills, you came up trumps, didn't you?
Bloody did.
Yeah.
And we've got the $1 Million Man Hasbro MOC.
Wow.
There is a little bit of yellow into the bubble. It's not really noticeable unless you've kind of got it in hand and you're looking from a very close distance. But yeah, it's kind of taken me back. I've not owned an MOC Hasbro in my adult life. So yeah, this doesn't have a token on. I was looking for that earlier, Jamie, just to see.
No.
But it doesn't have one on. But I don't even know what series this is because I'm not a Hasbro collector.
Series 1.
But yeah, I'm a massive Ted DiBiase fan as well. It will be getting sold, but I'll have it up in my collection for a little bit. Cracking prize.
Yeah, as I said to you before, it's a Series 1 first release, which is why it's got the butterfly hook. Because they later released the Series 1 again, didn't they, with Series 2 with the butterfly hook. But I think the butterfly hook makes it look wonderful, doesn't it?
Well, a bit of luck there, really, isn't it? I mean, imagine just giving someone 20 quid to go and make some money on, and he goes and does it. What a guy.
And then is honest about it as well and says, look, I've won this. Can you have it in the post? Just like, sorry, I don't know, I've spunked it all down the drain. But wouldn't do that to you, Adam.
It's for the good of the Fantasy Wrestling League.
Yeah. I was sort of hoping you'd be like, oh no, you keep it, you're all right. You've done good. But no, I think it's a sense of pride when I won the thing. I thought, I'll go back to Master and tell him what I've won. Like the Queen Bee.
Fair enough.
You did good then.
Any more, Johnny?
Yeah, I've got a couple more, and these are following on from Series 11 of Legends. I've got Series 12. So I've got these loose. These from Jeff Taylor, who's on the figure groups. This first one is Roddy Piper and Adam Foley's face, Adam.
Looks like you, Johnny.
Everyone looks like him, according to you.
I haven't got a mullet as such, so I kind of brush back.
We only ever see you sort of face on, don't we? We don't really. We might have a mullet.
Let's go to the figure. Is the head as terrible as I thought it would be when we saw it?
I was wondering the same thing. I was staring at it before we started, and as I'm holding it now, and I can't really tell. I think it's not bad. Actually, it's quite good. Actually, it's better than the other ones. I think that's probably the best Piper release, because before they used to have that bit where they painted the mouth open black, wasn't it? It was a bit weird. So I think it probably is the best release of Roddy Piper in the face wise. Although I don't have the Hall of Fame version. So that might be better. I'm not sure.
I think the Hall of Fame, the kilt for that was always a nightmare. It didn't go in properly. The kilt didn't do up properly.
Very plasticky, wasn't it? Rather than the cloth. Yeah.
What's that one like?
And it's cloth. This one. It's not as good because it doesn't have a belt on, whereas the other releases did. That's a bit of a shame. Anyway, moving on. DX Billy Gunn with his silly little hat on and camo stuff. I think he's wearing white underneath, but I can't bother to look. And also picked up Junkyard Dog in the red with the crown.
Looks like it fits well, that crown. Or have you got blue tack on it?
No, it fits. It's holding on quite well. Also got the blue version, because why not? And hopefully it's the last JYD Elite I'll ever buy. I shouldn't need another one ever again. But I don't have the Kevin Nash, unfortunately. Jeff didn't get it in time, or hasn't got it yet, unfortunately.
It's a good little week you've had for Legends Elites.
Oh, for 4 weeks. It was most of this stuff is stuff I've pre-ordered a long time ago, and it's finally arriving all at once. I haven't really bought much in the last 4 weeks. I'll have nothing next time.
We probably have a Legends Elite Series 16 or something. Ones that have only been announced. I think even the JYD and stuff have only just come out in America. They're just hitting the shelves now, aren't they?
Yeah, he's got good connections, our Jeff. As Adam knows.
With the JYD figures, for your actual collection, your shelf, display, because they're all from very similar time periods, all three. It's just different coloured trousers. How would you display that?
I tend to do them by year, so I'll maybe display one in 1985, then one in 1986, and then one in 1987 or 88 or whatever.
Even if they're that close, you've got enough display kind of.
Yeah, I guess so.
I've one from December 31st, 87, and then one from January 2nd.
There's people like Triple H and things. I've got several in the same year, so it does get a bit like cramped in there, and you have to kind of make sure they're in different parts of the display, so they're not like standing next to each other. Same with the Ultimate Warrior. Still, there's quite a lot in the same year for the Ultimate Warrior, and I'm sure there will for people others, Shawn Michaels, etc. One of those things.
Have you got anything else?
Nope, that's it. Finally.
Good stuff. Yeah, there's a lot there, isn't there? Let's move on to our little brief conversation in a second, boys, about the one and only Owen Hart, shall we? Very brief break it down session this time round. We had the news of Owen Hart and the AEW colliding into one mega force. We didn't really see it coming, even though AEW did announce the King of Heart name had been signed to them a while back. We sort of forgot about it, really, didn't we? And had that big announcement the other week. So, Adam, first thoughts on the partnership of the Owen Hart Foundation and AEW?
Yeah, first thoughts for me is I don't care about the partnership. I'm just so happy that somebody is going to get to release a proper Owen Hart figure, or as proper as it can be. I don't care whether it was WWE, AEW. Owen Hart was my favourite wrestler. I just wanted something, and my prayers have been answered. I've seen a lot of garbage on the interweb with people having a right go, saying, how dare Martha do this? It's nothing to do with AEW. WWE should have got it. She can do what she wants. It's her decision. It's her husband. It's her family connections. And just thankfully, someone has chatted in her ear about somebody getting the rights at least. So I am well happy.
Yeah, I think that somebody who was chatting at A was one Chris Jericho, because Martha Hart was on his podcast maybe a year or even more ago, and it was discussed about that sort of aspect of it, of honouring Owen Hart's career, and Martha was always keen to do that. It just didn't want WWE to profit from it, which we can completely understand. And to be honest, listen to that podcast and listen to Martha's side of it, and coupled with the Dark Side of the Ring last year, it all made perfect sense to me, and I got a lot more respect for her and her family and her ideas and ideology. So I could, from that moment on, I did see something with AEW coming up. Jamie always says that none of us seen it coming. I think I did. I remember when we did the AEW Legends episode, and I think it was, and I was the one that suggested I think Owen Hart would be in the line. I did predict that, or I did say it. It certainly could happen based on what Martha said back then, and it ties with Chris Jericho and a chat with him as well. So, yeah, I did see it coming. I'm happy with the partnership. It's going to lead to good things all around, and the fans can finally get their Owen Hart merchandise figures and have them in a video game.
Just start calling you flash forward, shouldn't we? Yeah, so the formal announcement was All Elite Wrestling and the Owen Hart Foundation, a non-profit charity which provides a vast range of assistance and opportunities to individuals in need across the world. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to do it verbatim because it's quite long. And he basically goes on about the Owen Hart Cup tournament within the AEW, as well as you mentioned before, Johnny, the AEW game appearance and merchandise and so on. So we had a brief look into the figures with the Micro Brawlers, which we had the King of Hearts as well as the New Japan Owen Hart. Apart from those, the last figure that we had would have been the Blue Blazer Owen Hart, which is one of my favourite figures. I love this figure. But I don't think they're going to make another one of these. I think it's going to be, looking at all the dirt sheets and so on.
It'd be completely tasteless to release a Blue Blazer.
That's what I mean.
They put a pudding, so yeah.
So, and if I'm honest, I'm glad of it for the obvious reasons, but also because it means that this figure for me is another bit of history. But yeah, all in all, I think really happy that they've signed AEW and Martha Hart has finally allowed some sort of merchandise to come out, which is good. They found a need for it. So boys, outfit choices very quickly. I sprung it on you, so I might answer first. But we all thinking King of Hearts?
Yeah, I would hope so. Something with a black signet with a heart on would do. Nothing too spectacular, just a good likeness and simple attire. Maybe something like the WrestleMania 10 would be good. So that era is ideal for me, I think.
Yeah, I was just about to say anything as close as possible to WrestleMania 10 for me would be amazing.
I think they've got the bonus that on the back of the jacket, for example, that to do a later one, they could have the Owen Hart Foundation rather than Hart Foundation. So
maybe there could be switching things around, whether WWE own Hart Foundation or not, we don't know. See what they can do.
Brilliant. What a match at WrestleMania 10 it was. Good to sit down and review that, wouldn't it? Speaking of review, we want to retro review, should we, boys?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Retro review time. Now we're looking at all the scores given from the Legion of Hasbro as well as the 3 Points of Articulation podcast as we review all of the Hasbro series. Let's have a little flashback to Series 3, shall we?
Yes, it's been a long wait, but I do have the results, or whatever we're going to call it, after our ratings last time from Series 3. And we do have a new leader, and that new leader is the Big Boss Man from Series 3. So he has scored a full 0.01 more than Ultimate Warrior from Series 2, who's in second place. The whole column from Series 3 is in third place now. So it's tight at the top. The Ultimate Warrior from Series 3, you both ranked it very high. I was unsure, so it's in fifth. And elsewhere in the table, they're just scattered around the mid-table, but Macho Man from Series 3 is obviously quite low, and he slots between Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels at the bottom. So he's second off bottom. As we move on to Series 4, and we're going to start off with Animal and Hawk from Legion of Doom. So these were released as a 2-pack. And Adam has Animal. No
Just
Hawk.
The one, yeah.
Let's have your opinions on Animal first then, Adam.
Yeah, the face paint is different to the card, which, if you know me from these reviews, is not good. Hawks is the same, but Animals isn't. You've always got a problem with the spikes for playability-wise. Luckily, I've got one which has got a full set, but that's getting rarer and rarer these days. But it only really affects it if you really want it minty display-wise nowadays. As a kid, I didn't really care. If they got broke, they got broke. Hairstyle and everything, it's so toyetic. The look on his face is the kind of grimace that Animal had when Hawk was talking in his interviews, which is always good. Enough detail on its past. The shoulder pads are amazing, just classic LOD WWF. A nice figure all round for me.
Yeah, Hawk was much the same when we talk about the entrance shoulder pads, and they've got problems with the spice coming off, but I guess we're not really going to comment on that since I have them all intact, just about, after going through about 10 of each. I think the face isn't as good on Hawk as it is on Animal, I don't think, but the face paint's accurate and it is a jumper. But I think the jumping works well in terms of the Doomsday device, so we can do a nice clothesline with that. So it does fit. Jamie, any thoughts?
Yeah, the moves are perfect for you can have Animal to pick them up and then Hawk to do the clothesline. What more could you possibly want moves-wise? It makes complete sense. Both moves do anyway. I agree with the face paint on the back not matching the figure, but at the same time the face paint was white on the box, which I don't think it's going to be as toyetic if you have that on the figure. Personally,
that sort of thing never bothers me anyway.
No,
it was a lot more detailed as well, which I don't think they're going to do.
Yeah, I think it was white with green in the middle or something, wasn't it? I think it was actually a question on the Legion of Hasbro quiz once. Yeah. So I think I copied your answer, Johnny. Yes, I think
I think I copied it as well. So.
Yeah, there we go. I think the figures themselves make complete sense to what they are. I remember as a kid not minding the shoulder pads as much. As an adult, I'm not a massive fan, but I can easily get by and see why they did it. Otherwise, it's just two dudes in face paint with some trousers on.
It is one of them as well that I would say that as a kid, I didn't mind playing with it, even though it wasn't in its wrestling gear, even though it had its entrance gear on. That for some reason LOD didn't matter that way. I don't know why. I can't really explain it, but I didn't mind just playing with them.
I used it in the storyline. I did I think Animals finished with a spear or something similar. Because obviously it had spikes on. It was part of the creativeness as a child.
As a Hasbro kid, I don't think you can let the entrance gear really bother you too much, unless it is completely like overwhelming in terms of you can't play with it. Let's see what you're saying there. Do we have any comments from LOH?
We bloody do. David O'Neill has put, I wish the spikes were removable. Technically they are, as they fall off so easy. But no, if the whole shoulder pads are removable, that would be class. So he's given it a 7. And Wayne P, let's go to Wayne, he always comments. Hello, Wayne. He loves the LOD figures, very colourful, good actions, great face paint, brilliant. 8.8 from Wayne P.
Was that for Animal or Hawk?
Oh, sorry, that was for Animal. I actually couldn't find Hawk for some reason. I typed in the little hashtag retro review, but...
You did post them under different aliases each time, just so you're aware.
Well, there is a reason for that. It's Facebook bans for everything these days. I called someone a silly goose was the reason for my current Facebook ban.
Well, don't get us kicked off.
You're going to have to cut this.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to cut this now. We can't have that kind of language on this.
To put it on.
All right. I suppose while we're waiting for Jamie to find that.
Well, I can't find Hawk, but let's just be honest. It's going to be exactly the same comments. The spikes should have been removable. It's a jumper. Yeah, that's going to be the general gist of it.
Right. I'm going to kick off some scores since I've decided. Animal for 7.2 and Hawk 6.8.
Go on, Adam.
I'll follow that up with Animal. Even though the face paint is a slight issue with me, it's still a better figure than Hawk. So 7.7 for Animal. I wouldn't go too much lower with Hawk because I don't mind him being a jumper. It's just the face that's not as accurate. So probably 7.2 for Hawk.
Good. And Jamie?
So 7.5 for me for Animal. And to be honest, I'm going to give Hawk exactly the same, 7.5. I think both moves are justified. I think looks-wise, they're both decent.
I think that the general consensus that Legion Hasbro agree more with Adam and his scoring. It was a 7.68 for Animal and 7.36 for Hawk. So pretty much around what Adam has said is a score for them as well. Right, let's move on to the Nasty Boys. Knobs and Sags.
I'll sandwich this one, so I'll go with the Legion Hasbro first for Sags. Sags is the brown head one, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, I was confused as a child because you only had them on box. Patrick Ayres has put good likeness with some more colourful attire. These would be great. Which, to be honest with you, I do mirror that fact. I think the attire themselves are relatively colourful, but all of the colour seems to be in the midriff. Nasty Boy's top was all over, wasn't it?
It depends. It did have some black ones, and I guess, yeah, actually, you could probably say that the colourful bits did go all over the tops as well. So it is a bit of a negative there, unfortunately. Fair point. Yep, just to allude to that, they are kind of all black and makes sense in the bottom half. On top, they could have done with more colour all the way around, but otherwise, the action's really good. The perfect. In fact, Sags, for me, is one of my favourite Hasbros to play with, just because of the way he's standing. You could do almost any move with him. And I did. I think I lost or broke Nubs at some point, so I only had a sag. So he did.
What?
Shut up, Jamie. Stop putting me off.
Broken
so
knobs.
he did well in my playing back then. So I do have a soft spot for old Sagsy boy there.
So yeah, Nasty Boys, kind of like Jamie said, my childhood, I actually thought this was Sags and this was Knobs. The only time it properly clicked in my head was when Brian Knobs had his WCW run. And I was like, oh. So yeah, I did the same. I think these are amazing figures. I really didn't like the Nasty Boys in WWF when I first saw them, and the figures pulled me round to actually appreciating them. Like you say, Sags just did the job as a figure. You got the Pit City that you can do really well with both figures, actually. You can do it with Knobs and Sags. Knobs' arm tend to break quite easily, which is probably what happened to yours. But Sags for me is the perfect action figure. I do appreciate the effort with the glasses, because quite a lot of the time they actually wore plain black sunglasses. So to actually go to the effort of doing the multicolored ones is quite good. They do suffer from the wristband unpainted syndrome that a lot of them do, because they've got wristbands on, but they're skin colored. But yeah, a really good tag team set for me.
Teeth are unpainted as well. Teeth on, is it Knobs?
No. Oh, sorry, I've mixed them up as well.
Sags.
I don't know. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Unpainted
teeth on Knobs. You're right. Well noticed.
Yeah, so then it gets a minus mark for me anyway, because I don't really like that. Just drawing with his mouth closed, or just drawing with his mouth open. But I think
I always thought his mouth was closed. That's the first time I've realised he's actually showing teeth. I always thought it was just closed.
Me too.
But apart from that, face-wise, I think they're spot on, really, aren't they?
Yeah, can't really complain with them for a Hasbro point of view, especially Sags. I think he's brilliant.
And on Knobs, Robert Mitchell has put Jobbies on Friday, Knobs on Saturday. I thought the 3 points of articulation was a highbrow podcast, which is alluding to the fact that I was talking about Jobbies on a Friday. Are you guys aware of what a Jobbie is? I found this out the other week.
Not really.
It's a
I don't know.
Well, you don't really. It's a Scottish word for feces. But I found it out the other week and blew my mind, to be honest.
Okay.
Anyway, Clark has put very underrated figure, 8 out of 10. That's for
Thanks for that, Clark.
That's for old Brian. But Chris Newton, who's a new commentator, not a commentator, might be, good playability. The nasties are always jobbers in my fig fed. And put a little sarcastic smiley face on the end. He's giving it a 7.5. So.
Harsh. Anyway, what do you guys think on your scores?
I'll kick us off. Sags is the better figure. For me, there could have been tiny little bits of detail. Like I say, with the wrist tape brings it down, but not that much. It's an 8.8 for me. This Sag.
Lovely.
Knobs. Sorry.
Yeah, Knobs isn't quite
as good. Knobs isn't quite as good, but suffers from the same things. But probably an 8.3 for Knobs. Face wise, not quite as good.
Yep, and Jamie, go on.
I still don't like Knobs as much as Adam does.
Yes, Jamie, it was too easy. Don't take that low-hanging fruit.
Saggy fruit, should we say. I think Sags for me was obviously the better one. It's an 8.5 for me. As Johnny said earlier, it's the perfect figure to have. It looks good. It's position-wise, it's great. Actual move set and so on. Knobs, on the other hand, I think move-wise is still good, but the unpainted teeth and the wristbands and so on does knock it down a little bit. Knobs I'll go for a straight 8. I do like Knobs as much as Adam.
Lovely. So Legion Hasbro scored Sags at 8.08 and Knobs 7.85. And I think that was too low as well. So my scores are 9.1 for Joey Sags and 8.6 for Brian Knobs. Yes.
Right.
Next, shall we go for my favorite wrestler of all time? It is Bret the Hitman Hart in his first rendition of his Hasbro figure. Pink attire, half foundation version, 3 hearts on the tights. Because he had 3 children at the time, not 4. Even though it was released in 91, they couldn't really update it in time for the birth of his 4th child. No. Plus, it did represent 1990 Bret Hart, I would say, even though it did come out in 91 or 92 or whatever it was.
Can I shock you?
Thoughts?
I don't like this figure.
What a shock.
As a kid, I never liked this figure. Face-wise, I always thought it was just not good. Body-wise, it's fun to play with, truth be told, but the face doesn't look like Bret Hart to me.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not the best.
It's not the best. It's not the best there was. The best there is. I think this is because I wasn't a massive Bret Hart fan as a kid, and I think this is probably the reason why.
So I do like this figure. I think it's a really good one to kind of get the sharpshooter on, his hand positioning, things like that. I don't like the skin tone. I think the skin tone is way too pale for Bret.
Yeah.
It's another one like LOD that I didn't mind him having the glasses on to play with. The only thing I've put that really grated on me, and I don't know why as a kid, was the fact that he's slightly looking upwards. And I found it really difficult to imagine the move sets and things with him always going like that. So I'm just looking upwards. It just didn't feel right to me.
Yeah, I think you took the words out of my mouth for the negatives in this, but there's still a lot of positives to give it as well. I think it's good representing what it is. It was just maybe a bit outdated when it came out, and you could have seen this come out as a tag team set rather than a singles, which maybe it was originally meant to be. You never know.
One thing I will say is the boots are really good on it. I like the boots.
Yep. Pretty good. Accurate.
Legion of Hasbro, they've put Rick GL has put fig size, bit too big for Hitman. He should have been bigger than Hulk. He shouldn't be bigger than Hulk and Warrior. But others have said instantly recognizable, good coloration on the gear. Coloration, is that a word, Adam? You're a teacher.
Let's just go with yes.
There we go. He's given it an 8 out of 10.
Very good.
I definitely see the point about the size.
I
agree with that.
It is big for Bret. Anyway, I'll lead off with the Legion of Hasbro scores, and overall they scored 7.75 out of 10. And I am giving it 8.7 out of 10.
Ooh, it's a lot higher than I expected that.
I know. I think I'm a bit blinded by my fandom of said wrestler as well.
Well, I was going to give it a 7.5, but the body size actually has made me think a little bit. So I'm going to go lower, and I'm going to go 7.2.
Right, you are.
Well, friend of the podcast, Joey Knight, has put, he's in the 8 club, like most of you guys. Didn't like the head sculpt as a wee child, but I'm into it as an adult. That Series 8 one blows it out of the water, though. Well, we'll come to that, Joey. Don't start giving spoilers out. Straight 7 for me, for Bret.
Jimmy loves everything to be in multiples of 0 or 5. Can't think outside the box ever.
Well,
when we do your individual league table, they're all just going to be all the same scores.
Consistency, I think.
Inconsistency.
It's very consistent. Having the 5s and the 0s, it's not more consistent than having 8s and 6s and whatnot.
You'll never be able to see which figure is better than the other one, though.
Wasn't that the whole
written
point?
Them all the same scores.
What's next?
Anyway.
And also, yeah, just to clarify, Joey was also met Bret Hart and he got trained by him. So he just a little side note.
Excellent.
Well, I've met Bret Hart as well, Joey.
Oh, did he train you? Did he?
Not yet.
No.
Anyway, let's move on to the British Bulldog. There he is in all his Union Jack glory. If you don't have this one, then you don't have a spare £4 to spend on it.
Mine's
one of the cheapest and most easiest to get Hasbro figures this time. Although I never had it as a kid.
Mine's in the loft. I did have this as a kid, but I think I didn't get it until relatively late on. I think I inherited it from someone who stopped collecting it or something.
Yep.
Good figure around. Missing the tassels for me. I always find this figure. I think if you add the tassels or a little bit of colour into the bottom of his hair, then that's really, really good figure.
I mean, on the braids, like a bit of colour.
Yeah,
on the
braids. Sorry, that's tassels. Yeah, you know what I mean. So like when you go on holiday to Spain and there's a woman on the side of the street doing it to your hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have actually put the beads in. They just haven't coloured them.
Yeah, that's a shame.
They slashed it then, haven't they?
Yep, but it's a pretty accurate attire from when he returned in late in 1990 to early 91, and it's exactly what he's wearing. Same outfit as British Bulldogs as well, so it does represent that time as well, although the hair's a lot longer. I'm not keen on the face, so it's not quite right. But it's a good action and good body type. It's quite muscly and strong. So yeah, it is. It's good. It's a good figure.
Disagree with you on the face. I think it's one of the better Hasbro's for the face. I think they've really made an attempt to get his kind of bigger chin in. I think they've got an attempt to get like dimples and stuff. I'm pretty stoked with the face. I think it's a good one.
It looks a lot like his son.
Looks better from the side, maybe.
Don't know. Matthew Stevenson's put 9 for me. Is the hair molding is ridiculous, as is the likeness, and the tights have some of the best fine detail. If those wristbands were right and had Winston, it would be a 10.
If and when, ifs and buts.
Well, that's what we're doing this for, isn't it? It's just to sort of say, oh, if they did this, if there was a little tweak on that.
Yeah, it is. You're right. I'm not downplaying that part of it, of course. And I'm going with straight 8.
Ooh. Consistent.
Straight in there. Rarely see me do that.
I'm going to trump you and go 8.1, which was always going to be my score.
And Jamie?
See, for me, I've got to go higher than both of those because I think the
straight what? 7 straight? 7.5?
Oh, I was not going to do it now, am I? So the move for me makes complete sense. Running power slam and so on. Attire makes complete sense. Looks good as a figure. 8.2.
He's going to go 7.5, really.
No, I was thinking 7.8, but then I reminded myself of the move and so on. But I've docked points off for the non-braids. That's the only thing I can really take off it.
Yeah, that means between us our average score is 8.1 and LOH's average score is 8.11. So I think we've all pretty much scored exactly the same, around about. As we move on to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, wearing a cape, not a hood, Jamie.
Right, just to clarify, I never had the cape as a kid. I always thought it was weird that it had the 2 holes in the back. Didn't know it was for. It was only maybe 10 years ago that I realised that it actually had an accessory with it. And I've always just thought it was the other way up. It looks better the other way up. But
I think it might have done if it didn't have the dragon head bit already on. Can't seem to get this stuff.
But it doesn't. For me, it doesn't look like a wrestling figure. It wouldn't look out of place in the He-Man line or something similar.
Yeah, got a point.
Yeah, so I think that's my sort of review on it. It's not a wrestling figure for me. It's toyetic as anything, but not wrestling toyetic.
It's just a display figure.
Yeah. It might be one of those that you can't really get over the entrance attire being on. way as you can with Legion of Doom and stuff like that. So I get what you're saying, but it is lovely for display, isn't it?
It's delightful.
It's an excellent looking figure.
And the card was really good, I remember rightly. Card's really nice looking. Yeah. Really nice. But yeah, all in all, it's just not really one to play with. So I'm, as with the rest of them, looking at it as a child and looking at it as an adult in two separate categories. So for that, I'm going to have to give it a 5.7.
That is criminal, Jamie. Anyway, Legion Hasbro scored an average of 7.23. And I think as a display piece and looking at it, it looks excellent. Its playability might be lacking a bit. But overall, I think it's really good, and I'm going to go 8.1.
As a kid, I hated this figure. I didn't play with it at all. It always ended up just sat at the side of me. I didn't appreciate Ricky Steamboat. As a kid, this incarnation of Ricky Steamboat, I did not appreciate at all to actually watch. So it had nothing going for me. As an adult, I can appreciate the display side of things, but I still don't like it. It's not a terrible figure, so I'm not going to score it really low. 6.5.
There's different scores all over the place between all three of us and Legion Hasbro. We've got a 5, a 6, a 7, and an 8. So it certainly divides opinion in it with that one.
Well, if Steps will be able to make a hit out of that, I'm sure we can. Jason Lipscomb has put I don't mind him. I just hate when the cape's wrong way around. And put the little eyes on there. Who would do such a thing? Who's next?
And some people refused to score until the cape was turned the right way around.
I did.
Well, right?
I'm not mentioning that. I'm not giving those people the time of day, Jonathan. Petty.
I think you've already mentioned them on this podcast already.
Not for this second.
Right, so let's move on to the final one of today. It is The Undertaker. And his first Hasbro release, or first release overall, figure-wise, I believe. First figure ever.
One thing I'll say for this, obviously we did the retros to start with, and for this, the moves that we're incorporating. The move for this figure is called the Tombstone Tackle, which doesn't actually exist. So are we taking that into account being the Tombstone Tackle, or why is it not a tombstone? Do you know what I mean?
Half of them moves that were on the card or the packaging didn't exist anyway, did they? So I don't know.
There's a weird one, isn't it?
He used to do like a flying clothesline, or he'd do the rope walk plus the
old school
match, yeah. So, but yeah, it doesn't really represent a good tombstone, does it?
Choke slam makes sense with an open hand.
Never used to do it till later on, though. I don't think. Yeah, so.
He did like an incarnation of it, though, didn't he? He did like a pickup and a fall in the early 90s.
He did used to choke quite a lot in the corner and stuff, so maybe that.
Philip Dunnett has put 10. He's one of the best Hasbros, but was always my favourite, so it gets a 10.
Yeah, if that's his favourite, that's his favourite.
It's quite a popular figure. There's quite a lot of comments on there, just from people just sharing their 2 pence.
Yeah, I think the attire is accurate, but you can't really say there's anything wrong with it. It's exactly what he wore, plus a hat. Does the hat bother you? Do you think?
It used to bother me as a kid. Yeah.
You know what?
I like sunglasses.
Put it up to the screen. If you put a beard on, that is you, Adam.
Okay.
It's got the hair out the side. It's got his little hat on. It's got the beard. It's a bit gingery when it shouldn't be. That it could pull off as you if you take your glasses off.
This isn't even ginger. It's red. It's like no hair colour.
Yeah, there's Adams, but yeah.
It's a very silly colour, that figure. Just it's off-putting how crap that hair colour is. Yeah. And for me, it just doesn't look like him. Never did.
I think it's good from the head downwards. Let's just say for that. Anyway, speaking of Legion of Hasbro, they have scored an average of 8.45, which is the highest of this series, by quite a bit. And my score is going to be 7.1. So 3-7 anyway. Ooh. Just to be like Jamie. Treat myself.
Everyone wants to be like me.
I was going slightly lower, so 6.8 for me. I just never connected with this figure.
Go on, Jamie, spit it out.
Well, I was going to read out Mike Jackson's comment, but there's some profanities in there, so I won't. Watch your words there, Mike. But it's basically went into a full story on there. But 7.6 for me, only because I like the move. It's iconic as a wrestling figure. As a kid, I used to like it. Chris Newton has put 8. Removable hat would have made all the difference, but this is still a solid figure.
Yeah, he probably has a point. Maybe change the hair color, then you would have got a figure that was worthy of an 8 or 9.
Yeah, definitely. One of the best figures out there, but actually I can't see it taking the old Fig Boss man off the top.
No, I don't think we've got any that's done that today. But it also has been quite a consistently good series as well. So
yeah, exactly, and quite frankly, the league's wide open as far as I'm aware. It's certainly not dead after 4 episodes, is it? Who would do such a thing? Boys, any final points from the retro review line?
No. You want to know what's coming next?
Why not?
So we've got Series 5 next, but it's going to come in 2 parts. So next time we will be doing Hulk Hogan, IRS, Jim Neidhart, Macho Man, and the Mountie.
Ooh.
So just 5 next time. We'll go a bit easy on you guys.
Much obliged. But boys, Johnny, thanks for your time.
You are very welcome.
And Adam, the wrestling man.
Yep, merci.
We'll see you boys in a couple of weeks for our next episode. All the best.